Hey there, everybody. This is Don Evans for WatchReport.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Borealis Seahawk. This is the newest release from Borealis. It is a 1,500 meter dive watch. The price is it's 355 plus shipping on their website, 355 USD. This is, for lack of a better term, I will say an update to their Borealis Seafarer, which, if you look back on WatchReport.com, you will find my review of that. That was a much larger sized version of this. Was very much a cross between, say, a Rolex DSSD homage, and it had the Tudor style snowflake hands. This is more of a vintage style Tudor homage. This is not to really homage, say, the Tudor Pelagos at all. It's more like, your classic Rolex slash Tudor homage that they're going for here. It is a 42 millimeter case. It comes to just about 46 millimeters if you measure in the crown. 22 millimeter lugs. The lug to lug length here, the length of the case, is 50 millimeters. And as you can see, it has a sapphire crystal, and the crystal is extremely prominent. It is actually a double domed crystal, but then it is flat on top, and it sticks out like this. But it is a sapphire crystal. And from the bottom to the top, it measures just about 16.5 millimeters. So it's not really a thick case from the back to the top of the bezel. It's only about 14.5, but that crystal gives it some extra thickness. You have a nice signed screw down crown. It is using BGW9 Superluminova, and that is on the dial, the hands, and the bezel. Now, the bezel is a nice matte ceramic. It is not that polished ceramic. So it gives you a little more of that tool diver look about it. See if we can. Now, because of this crystal, it is, it's a little difficult to get into the dial here and show you, but I'm going to try and do my best. There we go. It's a little better look. As you can see, you see how that, because of that double dome in there, so unless you're looking at it straight on, I'll try and give you the best look I can here. These are applied markers as well. You can see how thick the loom is on this. The loom is actually very good. I forgot to mention the movement is a Seiko NH36 automatic movement. You have your signed and ratcheting extension dive clasp. If anybody is not familiar with these, it's your standard flip lock dive clasp, but then it has the ratcheting extension. So if you were to actually dive and use this over a wetsuit, or, as many of us in the watch community like to say, we use it for quick adjusting on the wrist. So instead of, you have your standard spring pin holes and a clasp that you can move back and forth for micro adjusting, you could just do this on the fly. And it even does have micro adjusts in the actual extension part as well, to get the best fit possible. Many watches have these days. It was a nice upgrade to see this on the Borealis. Now, if anybody remembers the Borealis Seafarer, the previous model, the much larger model that I reviewed, there were, I don't want to say issues, but it was, personal opinion. I thought the lug-to-lug and then the attachment of the bracelet made it way too thick, or way too long on the wrist. The crown wasn't signed, and I think that was about it, though. I don't think there was that many issues with it, but they definitely paid attention. So you got the signed crown, very nice solid link bracelet. These use one-sided screws to hold these links together. Very easy to size with a standard screwdriver. Give you a shot. There's a look at the case back with that Borealis mermaid logo. Unscrew the crown here. It's a pretty tight crown. Really, very little wobble here. This is a nice and sturdy crown. There we go. I was trying to get it to the first position to show you the date change here. Really nice and easy to screw back down. Now, one thing I want to point out, the bezel. The bezel is a little difficult to get at, especially if you have bigger hands or fingers. And it's as you can hear it, and it's very loud, number one. But it's a little hard to start to get going. It's best to go from top to bottom, not side to side. It's a tight bezel. There's one thing is for sure. If you want to use this bezel for timing, there's no play in this. Like, it is tight. So if you were to set it here, and that's where you needed it to be, it's going to stay there. It's going to be very difficult to knock this bezel. But it is a little hard to turn. But you know what? I've always gone by this philosophy. I'd rather, if you were actually, I don't dive. I love dive watches, but I don't actually dive. If I was going to use this, though, for diving of any kind or any kind of timing, I'd much rather the bezel be tight than to be loose and take that chance of it getting knocked, out of position. So, but I just want you to know that, at least on this model, I've heard from a couple other people that have received this, that it is a little tight on theirs as well. So, it's just a very firm, tight bezel. Sorry for all the fingerprints. As you can see, the sides of the case are high polished, and so are the side links of the bracelet, and then you have the brushed all on top. But it will show the fingerprints, especially when you're, grasping at it here like I am for the review. Let me give you a wrist shot here real quick. I have a 7.5-inch wrist. I took out 3 links. I sized it 3 links to fit on my 7.5-inch wrist. So I'm going to say, out of the box, at best, probably about 8, 8.25. And you might have to use maybe 8.5. I would say 8.5 really probably stretching it. You'd probably have to have the micro adjust clasp open all the way. The ratchet and clasp, you'd have to have that extension open. I would say very comfortably, though, it should go up to about an 8, 8.25-inch wrist. So, there's a look at it on my 7.5-inch wrist. Let me move this out of the way here for a second. As you can see, with the design of the case back, it is going to raise up on the wrist. It's not, the lugs really aren't curved here, and you have a thick case back, so it's not like it's going to, just meld to your wrist and curve. But it's a very nice size. To me, it plays a little bit bigger than a 42 millimeter, and it's nice with that 50 millimeter lug to lug. So it's not a giant oversized watch. So there's a look on my 7.5-inch wrist. I will say first impressions overall is that this is really a great value. at $355 with the, you're getting the Seiko NH36 automatic movement, sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel, lume on the bezel, very nice solid bracelet, clasp, everything. It's a great watch. If you were looking for an homage, if you're looking for that Rolex homage, or you like the snowflake hands and you're looking for more of that classic style, with some modern elements, but also some vintage elements, this watch is very, very solidly built. I really don't see anybody that's going to have any issues or problems with it, to be perfectly honest. This also comes in, when I say it's I could be wrong. I know there's an all blue version, and then there is, I think it's a black dial with a green bezel. It could be a green dial, but I don't believe it is. I think it's a black dial with the green bezel, but I could be wrong, so check out the Borealis website to confirm that. But you have the 3 different colors of this as well. This has been my video look here at the Borealis Seahawk. Leave a like or a comment here on YouTube. As always, leave any comment you want, but please be respectful. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't, so you never miss another video review. Go to the link in the description. You will have my full updated thoughts and comments in the review with a bunch more pictures and anything that I left out of this video and other things that I would like to add about the Borealis Seahawk. This has been Don Evans for WatchReport.com. Thank you for checking out the Borealis Seahawk.